Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to.
Okay. Now, talking about Kimono's family, how many exactly are you? Because I know you're the eldest. How many younger ones do you
Yeah,
have?
I have four younger ones. Three are in America, and the last one is also here in Nigeria.
Okay, the last one stays with you.
No, she stays with her mother's family.
Family. Okay, okay, okay. Now, talking about her mother's family, that's Ife, right?
Yeah.
Yes, your stepmother Ife died. I think months after your father's death. How
Mm.
did you cope with those two deaths in almost in quick succession?
It was if you ask me how I coped with it, I don't know how I coped with it, but I just know that God came through for me. It was the most traumatic time of my life, losing my dad, and in a space of 1 month after his funeral, losing his partner. And um, it, it was a very trying period for me. Like I said, when death happens, a lot of things go sour. Especially when one person was the unifier. It's not an experience that I would wish for anybody to go through. You know, there was too many dynamics to it, which I don't think I want to talk about because, like I said, those are family issues. So it's not things that will put out to on the public domain. But however, we have been able to go past all of that, and we're forging ahead.
Okay. Now, your father's first official wife was Sibyl.
Yes,
What's your relationship with her?
no relationship, no relationship. Because I mean, bear in mind, I grew up with my grandmother. So by the time I got to Lagos, my father had moved to America, right? I got to my father's house. The first time I would visit my father's house was at 13, just before my grandmother passed on. That was my first visit to my father's house. However, he used to come to see me. He always came to the east to see me at my grandma's place. My father was very present in my life, even though I did not grow up with him. But at age 13 was the first time I went to visit my father's house, and that was, of course, the first time I would get to share the space with my stepmom. I mean, it wasn't enough time for us to bond. It wasn't enough time. It was just a 2 weeks holiday. So there couldn't have been any relationship that would be built in 2 weeks. However, when I finished secondary school at 15, by the time I got to Lagos, my dad had moved. They had moved to America. So then again, there is no relationship. So what we tried to do was try to build a relationship over the phone. I mean, my siblings knew they had an elder sister. So that was all there was there, but there wasn't any one-on-one personal bonding and stuff like that.
Your father was a great man. How do you plan to sustain his legacy?
Oh yeah, I mean, I always tell people Raskimono's legacy is not for one person. Like Raskimono's legacy is a very huge legacy. It's a legacy that's not just the family, but his fans, his supporters, his friends will all have to come together, just to keep going. Because honestly, um, the years go by, we tend to get to hear more about our father. We tend to meet more people, that have only good things to say about him. Just recently, a few days ago, just before we had his memorial here in Asaba, I met an old lady who happens to be the mother of Oge Kimono, the popular tailor in Lagos. And she was telling me the story of how a friend of hers, my dad saved the life of her friend. That my dad was traveling, and there was an accident on the express. This was somewhere around Benin or something like that. My dad stopped and helped the victim of the accident, who happened to be her friend. And her friend would always say that I am alive today is because of Raskimono. So this is the legacy. Like I said, the legacy is not it's not only Oge Kimono that can keep this legacy. It's everybody that has come in contact with kimono, that has had a one-on-one experience with kimono. It's not a legacy that only Oge Kimono can carry on. However, what Oge Kimono is out to do is to continue building on an existing platform. Kimono came and laid a strong foundation, and you cannot build a skyscraper if your foundation is not strong. So Kimono has laid the foundation. What Oge would do is to build her own beat on the foundation. The next generation will come and build their own beat on the foundation, and that way
Okay.
the legacy keeps growing.
Okay. Do you sometimes feel somehow that you don't have a brother?
Honestly, sometimes I do feel like it would probably be easier if there was a male child. But then again, I mean, God can never give you more than you can bear. I guess God knows that this child that I have created, she's two in one, male and female. So yeah, of
I
course, it's
like.
natural. It's natural to feel that, oh, maybe things would have been easier if you had a brother and all of that, or an older sibling, and not being the one to have to, not being the one to have to do all by yourself. But yeah, I mean, I guess the most I can give you more than you can bear. He knows that you can carry it. That's why he gives you that task.
Now, your father, when he was alive, had a wonderful reggae band called Massive Dread. What has
Yes.
been happening to Massive Dread?
Massive Dread has been intact. Massive Dread has been working with me. So when my father passed on, Massive Dread came together and they said, okay, we know your father has passed on. He's the one we worked with for years. But since you're also into music, we would like to continue this legacy with you, because you're now the touch bearer. So Massive Dread has been intact. I've been working with Massive Dread since the demise of my father. We've performed in several events together. BC Olatilo TV at I think at 20. We were there. We performed in Akwa Ibom State at the Christmas Village 2019. You know,
What is the numerical strength, of Massive Dread? How big? What is the number of the?
Massive Dread is a 10-man band, including
Okay.
myself, making it 11. So it comprises of the drum and bass, keyboard and guitar, three backup singers, three hornsmen, and a manager.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, your father's friends, how helpful have they been to you and your family since his death?
Oh yeah. His friends have been very, very supportive. I must say. I mean, people have been supportive in different ways. Financially, and I need to speak to somebody. I call up one of his friends, and I can vent. I can cry. So his friends have been extremely supportive. I cannot even lie. I am grateful for the kind of friends that he has, and the kind of relationship he has fostered with them, which they have also transferred to me and to the family.
Okay. I know, I remember when I came to the house, to pay my condolences that I met Pupa Orix Wiliki.
Yes,
And I know he happens to be one of your daddy's closest
yes.
friends. What is the relationship with him?
That relationship has also continued because Pupa Oris was also present at the just concluded memorial concert we had for my father in Delta State in Asaba. So that relationship has continued. Pupa is more or less my father, so we still have that very symbiotic relationship.
Okay. Now, which of your father's songs is your favorite and why? I know you like all of them, but I need your favorite and why.
Well, I still cling to the song called Jagaidai, you know.
Okay,
It
can you sing it?
says,
What?
yeah,
I
man,
want
yeah,
to know what
man,
that.
sure. It says, oh, Jaja, see, they my come, and they my vampires. Hey,
Okay.
oh, Jaja, see, they
I
my
remember.
come, and they my murderers. Murder. Oh, Jaja, see, they my come with them promises. Blessed do you know that they might come, figure trickier. So, oh Jagai
Yeah.
die from the enemies. Oh
Okay.
Jagai die from the parasites. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I remember. Which of his songs do you enjoy? You have told us the one, your favorite.
Yeah.
Which one do you enjoy singing? Maybe in your quiet moment, or you sing unconsciously. You know, the one you
Yeah.
sing more.
Okay. I think one of the songs that would always come into my mind. There are two songs actually. There is
Okay.
Naturalist and there is Tyrant. Yeah.
Okay.
So in recent time, Tyrant has been coming to my mind
Okay. Which one is
subconsciously.
tyrant? Which
So
one
it
is
says,
tyrant?
"Tell me who's the tyrant? Tyranny of
Okay.
our time,
Okay.
tyranny of
Okay.
our time." You know, uh,
Okay.
it's a very very political song. You know, and it's a song that is so it's so apt. It's so apt because when we're looking at the things that is happening not only in Nigeria, like across the world, because I think Tyrant was a song that did not do well in Nigeria, you know, because I think it was banned. You know, he did not Kimono did not hold any bar. You know, he let it out as he wanted it. You know, I mean, going as far as mentioning America, mentioning Japan, China, Germany, you know, the WTO, the IMF, you know, like UNESCO, he went all out. You know, this was him. This was him shedding light uh, to discussions that people would shy away from. You know, this was him speaking boldly to situations, you know, that people are afraid to speak about, you know. And like I said, I think that song was banned. It wasn't really allowed to play on the airwaves. Another one that I also um, connect with, and I seem to have connected with it more after this event that was held in his memory, because we had gone to Onicholona, which is our village, you know, and my uncle gave us he gave us a history that I had never ever heard in my life, you know. So it was he was telling us how there is a calabash, you know, that Kimono usually used to fill. Kimono was the one that usually used to fill water in that calabash, you know. And it's a very tiny calabash that is on a platform. So when he was telling the story, you know, my friend kept asking, is it that the calabash was dug in the ground? Or he said, no, this calabash is on the platform. And we saw it, you know. And that calabash could take 150 liters of water. It's a very tiny calabash. So what it is he said he noticed that there were snakes coming out, you know. So he called somebody to say, snakes, there are snakes in the compound and, you know, around. So how do we handle this? So my uncle now thinks of it and remembers and says, oh, there is this calabash that Kimono always used to feel, you know. And every time he feels it, if there were snakes, the snakes will run back, you know. So the my other uncle who went to make this inquiry now goes to feel that calabash and all the snakes disappeared, you know. And when he was telling this story, the song Naturalist came to my mind. I even performed it at the
Okay.
just
How does that
concluded
one go?
concert. It says, I am a naturalist, living in the light of a Rasta man. Hey, I am a naturalist. Some call me the only one. I am a naturalist, admiring the ways of the Indian. I am a naturalist, naturalist, a true born African. Yes.
I remember. I remember. I remember.